My name is Rick Lowry. I'm up here to protest, or not really protest, to help out my community because we're all suffering after the storm. A lot of us had problems, through the storm. We made it through that, then we made it through the insurance crisis, and some of us haven't, like my neighbor. But I'm stuck in the permitting process, and the whole problem is that the town feels that the garage was a lateral addition to my home, and we feel it was a self-supporting structure, and therefore they feel that it needs to be demolished, and that's where we're caught up. We can't. I've had my engineers and my architects and my planners and my designers all go into the town hall and try to meet with town staff to see if they could come up that they would agree with each other, but the only thing they could agree with was to disagree. So, I asked for them to at least convince one of them that I shouldn't be here, and they couldn't convince either one of them that I shouldn't be here. So that's why I'm here. I'm supporting their designs, their work, and they should be able to get this stuff approved with little ease. They're professionals, just like the people at the town. I don't know why everybody has to argue back and forth to figure this out. It's a simple solution, and we've had probably 15 or 20 architects and engineers since we started this problem agree with us, and that's why we're up here. Is we can't find anybody to disagree with us other than the town and one guy from the state. So if we could get somebody else to prove to us in code, an actual written code that says that this garage has to go and why, I'll come down. But until then, I'll be up here. So, and my other friends are suffering too. My neighbors with insurance, other people with the town and variances. So I'm not just up here for me, I'm up here for everybody that's suffering right now with the problems that we're still having a year after the storm. So. As long as I have to.
And what first gave you this idea? When did you get it?
What's that?
When did you first have the idea to go up on the roof?
About a week ago. We just got frustrated with the fact that we couldn't get answers, and nobody could seem to get answers that we were asking, and it just seems to be a battle back and forth between our professionals and their professionals, and we just want answers. We want to be back in our home. We've been in our trailer for 9 months already. And to build, it's going to take another year. It's not fair of us to have to live in temporary quarters for 2 years just to satisfy somebody down at the town or the state. It's absolutely ridiculous. We should be moving forward, not backward. Sure. Yes, I was. It was hell. It was pure hell. From 10:30 on, we knew we were in trouble. When the water came across the street and started to penetrate our house, about 10:30, it knocked my 2 front doors in, and I had 3 foot of sandbags in front of them. At that time, my wife and my son figured that they better run for it, so they ran next door to the stilt home that we had next door, and they barely made it because the river flowing between our properties was starting to dig into the property line. They made it over there and got up there, and by the time I thought I should have left, it was too late, so I stayed in the home here and watched my home completely wash away. At one point, I crawled into the attic. I was on a ledge in one of the rooms, and I crawled into the attic and looked down, and I looked down to find out that there wasn't a block left in my entire home. The only thing left was this garage and sticks that were holding the inside of my walls up. So about 4:30 in the afternoon, the condo across the street lost its complete structure of the roof, and it landed in front of us and crushed the front of our homes. And about that time, I heard the noise. It was so loud and so intense that I feared my wife and my son had died. So I dove into the water, and I fought to get next door the best I could by working my way to the garage and tying myself onto a cord in the garage that made it about halfway to the property next door. And then I had to untie myself and swim, and I swam as hard as I could, and I made it to the house next door, and I ran in, and I pounded on the first door only to find that the whole room was collapsed. Pounded on the second door only to find the whole room was collapsed. Pounded on the third door, didn't get an answer, and then I finally heard whispers in there, and I'm like, please answer the door, and God, thank for God, they opened the door and they were there. So, and we gave a big hug, and we knew it wasn't over yet, so we all tied ourselves together with belts and ropes and cables and all we had, and we just waited for it to end, you know, and when it ended, we went to bed for the night, hoping in the morning we could get out and start helping the community. And the first thing we did was jump out and just tried to find people that were still in suffering, you know, people that might be alive and still needed our help. So me and my son, we ran from house to house, neighbor to neighbor, just trying to make sure it was okay. So.
It sounds like this garage is part of what helped you kind of survive that day.
This garage saved my life, sir.
Well, I'm so sorry you had to go through all that. I can't imagine. Is there anything else that you want to mention?
No, we need help. You know, there's a lot of people who came to town after the storm, you know, saying they were going to help, Well, you know, we're a year later battling, some of, like my neighbors battling his insurance company. You know, I'm battling the state, the town. It's like we're all in the same fight. It's just a different battle. You know, we made it through the storm. Now we have to fight another storm. And it's just not fair. You know, I mean, this is simple things to understand. You know, you can walk around it and understand this foundation was solid. It made it through a storm that they say was a 100-year storm. But yet here we are, they want to knock it down just to make themselves satisfied. It makes absolutely zero sense to me. So, but.
So last question, in a perfect world, what would you like to see? What would be the best action that they could take?
In a perfect world, I would like to see my community quit suffering. I'd like to see not just me, but everybody be able to walk in town hall and talk to staff, where staff doesn't disrespect us and treat us like we're nobody, where they actually hug us and try to help us instead of turn us away and just frustrate us even more. The excuses can keep piling up as long as you want, but the fact is we're all citizens and we pay your way. You should be doing everything you can when someone comes in to help them. You should be answering the phone, you should be emailing, you should be doing everything you possibly can to help us citizens, no matter what it is, instead of just being nasty to us. And that's what everybody will tell you. You know, it's just, we walk in there and you treat us disrespectful. You treat us with, like we don't know what we're talking about. You treat our engineers like they're not professionals. You treat our draftsmen and our drawers and our permitters like they're unprofessional. They're not. They're just as professional as you, and their opinions matter just as much as yours. You should be respecting them.
Very last question, you gave me the idea. It sounds like you're not alone in this. It sounds like most of your friends and people out here are going through all this. Same.
We are not alone. We are one of many. And I'd like to say I was up here for myself, and I am, I'm sure, in some ways, but I'm also up here for my community. They're all suffering, and they all deserve to be treated with respect.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.